Now this one, there are no nice guys in Hollywood. This is by Patrick CC. And it's about my boy. Like I was talking the other day, I love Tobey Maguire. He's probably my favorite actor. So when I seen this, I was like, I probably should watch this. And the title, it scares me a little. I don't know what you're trying to say about Tobey Maguire. I don't think there's nothing wrong with Tobey Maguire. But apparently there's no nice guys in Hollywood.
Tobey Maguire convinced the world that he was the nice guy of Hollywood. He was quiet, reserved, and subtly charming. But over the years, the cracks in the facade began to form, and his once calm demeanor was now seen as a way to protect his secrets from being revealed. Like his involvement with some Hollywood bad boys who were up to no good.
Come on, man. Come on, bro. You wouldn't chill with Leo?
Film he made that led to a very serious lawsuit, vicious fights with paparazzi, which all built up to him allegedly running an illegal poker game where he hustled other celebrities and Wall Street executives out of tens of millions of dollars.
Come on, bro.
Consider that Tobey pretty much disappeared from Hollywood around the exact same
How can you hustle him? It was poker, bro. He won.
Time all of his secrets were coming to light, it became harder and harder for fans to see him as just a humble, hardworking actor. This is the double life of Tobey Maguire, known to the world as the greatest Spider-Man ever, but he may have just been a psychopath with a master plan to get filthy rich.
Shut the fuck up,
he claims to be
man.
a childhood prodigy destined for greatness, even though it was technically his friendship with Leo that made him a household name. In the 1980s, Tobey Maguire's mom, Wendy,
I'm just going to say this is slander at this point. This is all lies. I'm a fan of Tobey Maguire. So him saying that I think he's a bad boy for what? Playing poker, chilling with Leonardo DiCaprio. Why is this a bad boy? What did Leo do? Do bigger movies? Why would it be worse for him to chill with Leo? And what? He swindled people out of $10 million in poker. That's why are you playing fucking poker? That's a fucking trophy. He won $10 million out of high executives and other actors and stuff. That's fucking amazing.
Him $100 to study acting instead of becoming a
You can't do Spider-Man forever.
chef. Within a year, Maguire loved it so much that he actually dropped out of high school to pursue a career in Hollywood. However, what might be seen as a mom wanting the best for her son turned out to be an act of desperation. His home life was unstable, and Tobey found himself moving around constantly while finding commercials to help Wendy pay the bills.
I think initially, because I moved around to so many different schools, socially it became really difficult for me to integrate into the school and the social thing with the kids. And I became really, well, in 6th grade, I remember I went to school in Palm Springs and I got like morning sickness for the first month. Every day I would get nauseous. And I realized later it's because I was so nervous about, meeting new kids. And then I left there abruptly and moved to a couple different schools the following school year. And I think I just wanted to give up on forming new relationships.
Performing became Tobey's entire life. He knew this was his destiny. He said, "I'm self-aware enough to understand that it's statistically very hard to achieve the position I'm in, but I also think I have a lot of ingredients that are right for the path that I've chosen. I find the way, like water. I like to be productive. I'm constantly reflecting on personal progress. And since I was around 15, I knew I'd be successful. Since I was 17 or 18, I always knew I wanted to live a great version of my life. And so I got those ideas, and they have been North Stars to me." Tobey seems to approach his Hollywood career like a corporate CEO executing a plan. No matter what, he finds a way, which is probably why he wouldn't want to admit this, but Tobey's key to success in Hollywood was becoming friends with Leonardo DiCaprio.
This is networking. This is a clear case of networking. Like, Leo has a lot of things, but Leo's not fucking Tobey Maguire, bro. He is not Spider-Man. He is not Peter Parker. And motherfuckers could say he could have been bullshit. And I love Leo. But Tobey Maguire is his own thing, man. Stop fucking comparing him. No, he did not make him famous. Maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Described how they first met in the 80s. I literally jumped out of the car. I was like, Tobey, hey. And he was like, oh yeah, I know you. You're that guy. But I just made him my pal. When I want someone to be my friend, I just make them my friend. Tobey didn't realize it at the time, but he just became friends with a future Hollywood legend. But in the
Wait, so fucking DiCaprio was being friends with him? Why'd you say it like that? Or like it was fate? And then it made him, because he accidentally made him. Okay.
beginning, Tobey and Leo were always auditioning for the same role, and with a competitor like DiCaprio, Maguire lost almost every time. But since Leo was a good friend, he'd do his best to get Tobey a supporting role or a guest spot in whatever he was hired for. The two earliest examples were the TV series Parenthood and 1993's This Boy's Life.
You cannot be mad.
Where Leo got the main role but managed to get Tobey a tertiary role. But even in their personal friend group, Leo outshined Tobey with his natural charisma, while Tobey was the introvert keeping to himself.
Congratulations on your movie, and I hope you do well in Canada. Thank you. Okay, I know. Wait, hold on. Okay. Can we get a token black guy in here or something?
Hey, jokes were different back then, eh?
In fame, they would start to develop a bad boy reputation behind the scenes. Leo and Tobey formed an entourage notorious for chasing women and allegedly assaulting innocent people. It became so controversial that they would try to remove any evidence that this ever existed, because if anyone was able to validate these stories, it had the potential to destroy their career.
So, did they assault people, eh? Lies.
By 1993, Tobey Maguire got a taste of fame before he even got his first big break, all because his best friend had just starred in What's Eating Gilbert Grape alongside Johnny Depp. While it didn't make much at the box office, the biggest names in Hollywood were now familiar with DiCaprio. Suddenly, Tobey found himself doing ride-alongs with Leo where they would go clubbing, hit exclusive restaurants, and experience what it is like to be members of the industry's upper class. The inner circle consisted of Tobey, Leo, Lucas Haas, and Kevin Connolly.
Yo, Kevin Connolly didn't that motherfucker scam all the motherfuckers on the podcast, man? Didn't Kevin Connolly from Entourage, he scammed a lot of people.
But it also included aspiring or soon to...
like Theo Von and all that. I'm pretty sure he scammed them all. I forget what it was, like some podcast, like network thing, and yeah, apparently he was the guy, right?
To be megastars like David Blaine, Jay Ferguson, Josh Miller, Ethan Suplee, and Scott Bloom. As DiCaprio continued to get more and more famous through movies like The Basketball Diaries, The Quick and the Dead, and Romeo and Juliet, all of the young guys around him elevated in fame just for being his friend. The only person who claimed to hold on to his own identity was Tobey. He refused to talk too much about his relationships and made serious efforts to look as polite as he possibly could on camera.
Now, how do you get involved with those creeps?
Bunch of punks.
Are you really good friends with Leonardo DiCaprio?
I've been friends with him for years, like 11, 12 years.
Yeah,
Fine.
you're on his level.
But I have even talked to David Blaine about this. He said, hanging out with Leonardo DiCaprio, my whole identity got lost. I became Leonardo DiCaprio's friend and part of his posse, and it was very upsetting.
Screw that.
That didn't bother you.
You don't find that bothersome?
I've always been the like independent, quiet one, and I keep myself separate in terms of like press and all that, and you know, otherwise I'm just his friend. And I understand what David's saying. There's definitely, he gets a lot of attention. You know, the guy's very magnetic. He's like Marlon Brando or something, you know.
And as a result, he started building his own star power, like his roles in The Ice Storm and Deconstructing Harry.
David Blaine's a fucking magician, right? Yeah, I'm getting that right? That's all he is, yeah? Obviously, he's going to be like in the posse of someone that's as good as that actor as fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, Tobey Maguire was an actor as well, so obviously they're going to be different. But why the fuck are we comparing David Blaine? He's not up on that level, man.
Directors and producers picked up on his quiet demeanor, and he started
He's just a magician, right? David Blaine is just a magician, yeah?
being typecast as a quiet and reserved nerdy guy in larger films. According to Kevin Connolly, Leo was definitely the ringleader, but Tobey was also a superstar in the making.
Even like Tobey was a guy who was just always right. And they were like, all right, this guy, he was just like, his picture was just on everybody's wall. Like, the right thing is going to come along. He's a guy that his career was inevitable.
The years 1997 and 1998 were the first golden era for Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo's latest film, The Titanic, essentially made him the world's most popular actor for several years. His part as Jack Dawson made him a global symbol. Meanwhile, Tobey had finally made his way into major award-worthy films with a brief but memorable part in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and a starring role in Pleasantville alongside Reese Witherspoon. Neither was an absolute blockbuster like Leo's film, but both became cult classics that fans obsess over. He was also in the process of filming Cider House Rules, a movie that would go on to win 8 Academy Awards and get 30 nominations. Now, for most actors, this would be a dream come true, but Tobey's relationship with Leo was about to threaten his nice guy persona, and according to people who worked closely with him, he was willing to do anything to make sure his true nature remained a mystery. In 1998, New York Magazine published an expose article titled Leo, Prince of the City, which was about DiCaprio, Maguire, and the rest of their friend group. The group was infamously named as the Pussy Posse, although actor Kevin Connolly vehemently denies that they gave themselves this name.
You were very famously a member of the Posse.
Yeah, or what channel is this?
Leo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, David Blaine, all these guys. Who got the most in the Posse?
Well, listen. First of all, if I could set that straight,
yes.
That was there was a New York Magazine article written years ago, and the writer of the magazine coined that phrase.
Got it. You guys didn't coin yourself that.
With my hand on the Bible, I swear to you, never, ever, ever.
It sounds like Piers Morgan when he gets asked about the Epstein Island mentions.
In any capacity, have myself or any of our friends ever referred to ourselves as the Posse. This guy wrote.
1 sec, I'll be back.
Now,
My
according
bad.
to journalist Nancy Sales, the P Posse wasn't a name she had come up with herself. It was just something she kept hearing when she would follow closely behind members of the group. In her own words, the group's core members constitute a frat house of young men, some of whom are actually famous, like Leo. There's Lucas Haas, who has not yet become Leo, and Tobey Maguire, the pensive youth in the ice storm, who is perhaps waiting to. She also went on and described Leo's insane star power, where he would get into clubs where Mariah Carey would have to wait in line, along with a growing group of friends in the outer circle who would buy him drinks as soon as he asked for them. Without being able to reach Leo directly, Nancy would have to rely on information from bartenders and waitresses. One of them...
Do you know what sucks about this? This is supposed to be a video of Tobey Maguire, and it feels like we're watching a Leo documentary. That must suck to Tobey Maguire. It's like, oh, the downfall, like, there's no nice guys in Hollywood, but I don't know, man. They can't do my boy Tobey like this.
Stated, he does not teep. He gets his friends to go to the bar for his drinks. He was in here with Julie Delpy. I could not understand it. She's a very nice girl. French. He is cheap. In return for their loyalty, Leo would...
So what? She's fucking dissing the woman that he's with. This is typical behavior, isn't it? Oh, he's with cheap women. She's French. Oh, I can't believe he's with that chick. That's why they're saying this shit about him. Like, I don't understand. How young was he? He's out at the clubs. Like, who's the weird one following him around, writing stories about him?
Pay his friends back using his fame to improve their careers, like how he appeared on TLC with David Blaine to help him promote his very first TV special.
When you did magic to me, at that party, it was right in front of my face. It was, one-on-one. I couldn't help but be interested again. So why are you now doing a TV special? I mean, I'm curious. How do you think your stuff is going to translate? It's so different than what's been done before.
I don't work with fancy props. There's no beautiful showgirls. There's no elaborate sets. I work with people. It makes the magic spontaneous. It's like everybody's trying to do the next biggest special effect. I mean, it gets bigger and bigger.
However, rumors circulated that the P Posse members were prone to spiraling out of control. One allegation was that Leo would pelt people with grapes and trash before getting his show.
Why are we blocking the word pussy? The pussy posse? Isn't it just mean pussycat? Like, what the fuck is this? Is it illegal to say now?
Chauffeur to help him escape. Tobey and the other guys allegedly set off stink bombs in exclusive bars and clubs and would start fistfights.
Whoa! It's like Bart Simpson's out there. Shit. There's no nice guys in Hollywood. They set off stink bombs. I'm sure that's all they did.
Fights with paparazzi. Now, if this were the actions of 14 and 15-year-old suburban boys, it would probably seem normal. But these guys were famous and approaching their mid-20s, which makes the behavior less excusable. But of course, what gave the P Posse their
they're still young. If they're like approaching their 20s, like what, you can't even drink in America at that age, right? You have to be like 21, right? In Australia, we can drink at 18. So it's a bit different here. But over there, well, it's like 21. So why can't they have fun like that? Especially if they're famous and got money. Why the fuck wouldn't they have fun?
name was how they allegedly interacted with women and tried to get them into bed by any means necessary. In one instance, they reportedly tried to get DiCaprio with the actress Elizabeth Berkley. A publicist named Karen Tenzer apparently told Berkley at a party, "Jay Ferguson and Leo are going crazy for you, and they want you to come to Elaine's after this, without Roger Wilson," her boyfriend at the time. But when Elizabeth refused, the group allegedly started calling her house. The next morning on my voicemail, says Berkley, there was a message from Jay saying, "Hey baby, Karen gave me your number. We're going out to dinner later. We want you to come." Berkley didn't know that the publicist was basically just a plant trying to coerce her into hanging out with the P Posse. And according to Berkley, the publicist left her 7 different voicemails. She stated that Karen said, "Why didn't you call Jay back? Your presence is requested here." Her tone was very impatient, and I said, "What? Are you trying to deliver me to these guys, Karen?" And she said, "Well, you know." At this point, Berkley was obviously scared and decided to involve her then boyfriend, Roger Wilson. Wilson told New York Magazine that he tried to set them straight without escalating the situation. "I know you guys are having a great time and the town is your apple, but not this part of town. I don't know how this got started, but I'm just asking you to please not call my home again." And Elizabeth,
that's a respectable guy,
has asked please that you not call her again, okay? According to Wilson, one of the boys from the posse lashed out saying, "We'll call whoever we want, and if you don't
shit
effing like it, then why don't you come down here and tell us to our face?" Unfortunately, it did escalate, and it got to the point that the posse allegedly confronted Wilson in front of a hotel, punched him in the throat, and then ran off to avoid
punched him in the Adam's apple. Damn, bro. Damn, that's actually so disrespectful. I would never do that. That would be so painful. Like, imagine just getting a hit in the Adam's apple. Like, oh god.
ruining their reputations. And even though this was a massive
But who did that out of, like, let's get some names.
expose on one of Hollywood's newest stars, nobody ever corroborated these stories. There was nothing in Nancy's story that could prove it was true without some kind of physical evidence. However, there was something that came out later that did have some people thinking those allegations might hold some weight, and it came in the form of a short film called Don's Plum, which was so bad that it actually led to a lawsuit where Tobey and Leo gave sworn depositions. Don's Plum was filmed in 1995, and it was an extremely weird indie film where Tobey and Leo act like extremely cruel young guys to women.
Stop looking at me like that. I'll throw a bottle at your face, you goddamn shit.
Yo, what the fuck is this? Yo, what the fuck is this movie?
But what made it interesting was that it was scarily similar to Nancy's claims in the P Posse expose article. The indie film followed young guys in their 20s who met at a diner to complain about life, flirt with women, then insult those same women, insult each other, and the conversation slowly devolved into awkward power games and emotional manipulation. The cast even reflected the dynamic of the posse in real life. Leo was in the center as Derek, but the character was highly judgmental and insulted people for their sexual orientation or race, also frequently using the F slur. Meanwhile, Tobey was in a supporting role as Ian, a shy and reserved guy who would laugh at Leo's jokes while secretly wishing he could shamelessly sleep around and get his 15 minutes.
What is this movie?
Sandwich still? I want a veggie sandwich flow. See? I have a bread. Your bread. Wheat toast. Lettuce. Shredded up. You know, the usual. Anyway.
And you want very well done chicken wings.
Right, not too well done. Okay, sweetie?
Okay.
Just
chicken
a
wings.
little bit crunchy.
Okay.
Just like you.
Crunchy. That's interesting.
Go put that order in, Flo.
Okay.
All right, babe.
I'm
Love
so
ya.
happy you're here.
Go, Flo, go. Out of here. Hello? Send her back to sea, bro. That chicken's fat.
By the end of the night, nothing is resolved. The characters are just left sitting in their own ugliness, stripped of the cool, mysterious image that they think they are.
So it's got Eric in it. I keep calling him Eric because that's all I know him from Entourage. And it looked like it even had David Blaine. So why would they recreate that scene?
Projecting. Now, of course, Don's Plum was technically a work of fiction. It was allegedly just an improvising acting exercise, with Leo and Tobey never thinking it would ever be released. According to the producer and director,
Why would they fucking film that then? If they thought it wasn't to be released.
Dale Wheatley, as well as his co-producers, the possible release of Don's Plum made Tobey lose his mind. After hearing about the first version of the film that was intended for release, Tobey allegedly got his manager involved to try and remove any of the improvised lines that would hurt his image as an up-and-coming actor.
I believe Tobey and his manager wanted to view the movie to make sure that Tobey's performance was up to par, that it supported that he's a really good actor. I think they had maybe some concerns that he came across a little bit weak on film.
And there must be some truth to this allegation.
So they made him go. So that they looked really young there, and it looks like these old fellas made him do some edgy shit. And what? Just hold it against them for the rest of their careers? What does it mean that they weren't going to release this, but they did the most edgiest shit that they? So what was it, like just an exercise or something? Why would they do that? And then Tobey's stressing that this is going to release and stuff. That's really weird. That's really weird. I've never heard of Don's Plum. I'm going to look it up after this, but
because Tobey would end up shooting additional scenes after that dinner table scene to make him look even better. But after the first screening, Maguire did everything he could to shut it down before it went global.
He started suggesting that there was shady business about Don's Plum and that he had a problem with that, and he felt like we were withholding from him and from the others information that they should know about, and that we haven't been on the up and up from the beginning. And Artie was kind of having none of it, and Artie was like, what do you really want? Tobey, why are you here? Why are you really here? And the thing started boiling up, probably as the macaroni was boiling up. And finally, Tobey loses it. He comes completely undone and he starts screaming, I want Don's Plum to burn! And he's screaming and his veins are coming out on his neck. And it was just rage, pure unadulterated rage.
Leo seemingly felt the same way, and he allegedly made the posse turn on the director in a private meeting.
In a way, life was starting to imitate art. Leo was becoming more and more like Derek, the way he acted, the things that he said. He knew that we had been already invited to Sundance. He goes, this movie isn't gonna be in Sundance. My agents run this town and they run Sundance, and believe me, that movie's not gonna be in Sundance. Your movie's not gonna be anywhere. My agents run this town.
In response, Dale Wheatley's legal team eventually had to get involved to save the film. What followed was a countersuit from Tobey and Leo, claiming that Don's Plum was supposed to be a short film and they had been lied to from the very beginning. But when Tobey finally got the chance to speak up and give his deposition, he didn't say much, and he always looked as if he was hiding something.
Did you voice any type of objection to Don's Plum being anything more than a short?
I don't recall.
Did you hear anybody else object to that?
See, look what... The thing is, why was the movie from start never supposed to be released, but they said the most edgiest shit?
I don't recall.
On the other hand, Leo was much more straightforward that this was nothing more than improvising, not a real film.
I'd never had any intention of doing a feature film. The agreement had always been that this was a short film. I would never go in for...
Yo, but how the fuck can you put actors on the, like, on the chair, like on the stand, you know what I mean? Like, they're actors. Leo could be lying through his fucking teeth and you would not know shit. You know what I mean? This is going to be the hardest motherfucker. Like, if this guy ever does anything wrong, this guy is going to get out of everything. We fucked up, bro. He's a good actor.
one night and improvise with my friends and make a feature film. There's no way I would ever do that.
Regardless of which details of this story you believe, it's pretty clear that the reason they did not want this film to be released was because it made them both look like disgusting pigs at a time when their careers were about to explode. Director Dale Wheatley lost his lawsuit and had been essentially blacklisted ever since. When it came to the movie itself,
Yeah, fucking... So why the fuck would you be trying to make a movie like this with these fellas at that time? Unless you try to hold something against them and then they can do what you want. Like, it looks like it was a little ploy to fuck them over. They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have done it. And they realized that. Good on them for fighting back. But even if, yeah, why the fuck would they do that movie at that time? Like some edgy fucking, oh, we're the bad guys thing. That's ridiculous. It looks like... And then, I don't know. What is a deposition? What is that? Why did they have to say that? Is it like police? What? Because, oh, the guy sued them too.
Don's Plum was officially released in 2001, but eventually banned from being distributed.
So it was like when Spider-Man was coming out. Of course, fucking Tobey was yelling with his fucking veins out of his neck. You're trying to ruin his shit.
In the US and Canada, which is why very few people even know it exists. They successfully dodged a major bullet, and as a result...
You know what, bro? Because of that, that makes me not believe that bullshit story with the girl and shit. And like, you know what? It could have been true, but because of that shady shit where they try to film a movie of that night and they're like, oh, you're becoming this character. No, they try to put that on him. That was some weird Hollywood shit, man. They were trying to get him on to do some weird shit there, bro. That's what I reckon. I don't understand why young actors would make an edgy movie where they're like dissing girls, saying improvised lines just to throw it in their face. Yeah, I feel like that's some blackmail shit.
Well, Tobey continued to assist.
And then have a story that aligns exactly with what happened that night. That sounds a bit weird. They're trying to set him up or something.
And become a major Hollywood star. His efforts to be portrayed as a nice guy were paying off, and he was about to become a billion-dollar asset that would kick off Marvel Entertainment's absolute dominance in Hollywood. In 2001, Sam Raimi was tasked with making a live-action adaptation of the comic book Spider-Man, a classic.
I'm just gonna get a drink one second.
Superhero story about a young socially awkward guy named Peter Parker who gets special powers after being bitten by a spider during a field trip. Raimi's mission was to depict the most relatable and
best fucking movie, best experience as a kid going to see this shit, to be honest, man.
Believable superhero of all time.
I love this shit.
Well, I try to always be true to the character of Peter Parker and deal with him honestly, like in any dramatic motion picture. Sometimes in the comic book movies, they take a step back from reality, even when dealing with the characters. But I decided to take a different approach and make it as real as possible so that the audience believed that they could believe in this hero, in this man. And that was really my guide all the way through the performance pieces.
Some actors considered for the role included DiCaprio, Freddie Prinze Jr., Jude Law, James Franco, Jason Schwartzman, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Heath Ledger.
I reckon maybe Jake Gyllenhaal would have been the only exception. It's just like... But like, I guess Tom Holland's killing it right now in another way. But how movies were back in 2000, Tobey Maguire was the perfect
However, Raimi felt the only logical choice had to be Tobey Maguire.
In Sam's mind, I think I was the guy, but the studio wasn't sold on me immediately.
And that's not because I don't think, like, bro, Heath Ledger's amazing. He got Joker, bro. Like, I feel like everyone else is amazing. Leo's hella good because he doesn't do this shit. He makes, like, characters that you don't even know just amazing. Like, it's pretty easy. Like, it's not easy, but it's pretty, when you're coming into like a character like Spider-Man, everyone's already gonna come watch you. You know what I mean? But Leo sort of made that aura just on his name, where Tobey Maguire got it off Spider-Man. Let's be honest. But fuck, man, I love Spider-Man, bro. Look at his suit. It looks so fucking cool, man.
They weren't sold on you. Isn't it true he went and shot some film with you to prove to them that you'd be a good Spider-Man?
It was a bit of a process, but first we did like an audition on videotape in a little room, and they got it. Took them a couple weeks to see it.
Were you insulted?
My ego was rubbed a little bit, you know.
And once Tobey got the part, it was clear this was the role he was born to play. He captured the spirit of the everyday kid and was able to share a kind of vulnerability on screen that...
He captured the spirit of an everyday kid as like a 35-year-old. Weird, isn't it? He was like fucking, yeah, he was like mid... Like, that's like... But that's 2000 movies, you know what I mean? That's like 35, that's when you play a 15-year-old, bro.
Made guys in high school.
But I would have thought he was like, yeah, he was in high school, bro. That was fucked up.
Empathize with his character. A lot of young guys can relate to the loss of a father figure and struggling with adolescence.
He's a superhero, but as you said, he's a normal, kind of ordinary kid who's an underdog. I love underdogs, you know. He gets picked on by the bully. He doesn't know how to share himself with the girl that he has great affection for. It's difficult for him.
On the other hand, the movie was able to share action sequences that were fun and didn't take themselves too seriously until it was necessary. As much as Tobey Maguire was perfect for Spider-Man, a lot of the credit goes to Sam Raimi for understanding that Tobey had a true talent for looking innocent and shy. Spider-Man was a coming-of-age film just as much as it was a superhero movie, and even with a massive budget of about $139 million, it managed to rake in over $800 million at the worldwide box office. Tobey is just a childhood hero of mine. No matter how great Tom acts, Tobey's just the greatest in my heart. With massive critical and box office success, the second Spider-Man movie went into production almost immediately. It followed a similar formula to the last movie, where Peter Parker had to face off against a villain named Otto Octavius, or Doc Ock, after he lost his mind trying to play God. Even with all the success of the first film, Tobey was a little hesitant to get deeper into the role. He had just starred in the Oscar-nominated movie Seabiscuit and always saw himself as a more serious actor. Tobey really seemed to worry about getting attached to a franchise that could prevent him from accepting more challenging roles.
What I liked about it was Sam's approach to the whole movie. You know, when I first heard about it, I was a little reluctant about the idea, but I went and talked to Sam, and he just talked about it from the standpoint of character. I really wanted this to come from character, you know, these real kind of people, and a coming-of-age story about this kind of ordinary kid who becomes a superhero and who's struggling with the big questions in life, along with like the regular personal stuff and desires. And I really liked that approach, and I thought it would be interesting to bring, you know, my sensibility together with Sam's for this kind of movie.
And once again, this proved to be the best decision for Tobey's career. The amount of money that Spider-Man 2 made at the box office was almost identical to the last. Not only that, but it's widely considered to be the best Spider-Man movie of the entire franchise.
It was sick, man. The way like it goes like from his eye into the city, like the camera, I don't know what it was. I saw some video that said it wasn't CGI. But I don't understand what it is then, because like how's that in his eyeball and shit? What is it, like Photoshop? I don't understand. But this shit was, I thought as a kid, and then as I look back on it, there's still nothing that was like replicates how Sam Raimi made that movie. There's like all the camera tricks and like all the shit looks terrible in the new Marvel movies compared to what that looked like in that movie. They did do a little bit of this because I think Sam Raimi did the newer Spider-Man with Tom Holland and all of them, how they came back. That was cool for like, but it has nothing to do with these movies. These movies back for their time, still, you cannot recreate this shit.
Guys, I personally like the first one more though. Tobey's salary was to the...
Yeah, but the third one is still fucking the craziest shit ever with Franco comes back as... Bro, like, the third one's sick, too. I don't know why people talk shit on the third Spider-Man, bro. Don't even fucking mention it.
Tune of $17 million, officially making him a member of the Hollywood elite. It was like all of his childhood dreams of making it big had officially become a reality. As a kid, I was very poor. I mean, it's all relative, but we would get groceries from neighbors. I always had a roof over my head, but I slept on couches of relatives, and some nights we wandered into a shelter. My family had food stamps and government medical insurance, and I wanted to get out of that, so my ambition was initially to make money. I was pretty driven, and with all this newfound wealth, Tobey got into hobbies with a bit more risk. In 2004, he started playing competitive poker and quickly discovered he had great skills beyond...
See, I was just about to say, fuck all that shit, bro. I hate when actors say that shit. I was just so broke. I just had to make more money, so I have to make like fucking, $1 billion, like $160 million. Like, what the fuck is that? Do something fucking that make your heart beat, man. Poker. This is it. This is where the fucking real big dogs come to play, bro. And the fun thing about poker is everyone can play poker, man. You can start from scratch. If you're good enough, man, you can take money off Tobey. That's how I look at it. Fuck, if I get on a table with Tobey, shit, I'm going to try to take his money. But I respect all poker players.
Acting.
Are you good at memorizing cards and where things are?
Well, yeah, I'm okay. I'm pretty good at that.
Like, what's your biggest win sitting down and play poker? If you don't mind, I'm just curious.
I played in this tournament, which it's different than playing in a cash game. And,
it's very different to cash game. Tournament goes a lot longer than cash game. Or actually, cash games can go for some days, depending on where the cash game is. I can't talk about them games, actually. But tournaments, oh my God, man, you can be there for ages. Sometimes, people just give up on the last table, especially. But fucking respect, man.
Fairly, but no, Michael, is it more than $50,000?
It was more than 50,000, yeah. A little bit more. A little bit, yeah. So it was a big win.
Wow.
How much you reckon he lost?
Big. But I didn't risk that much money in order to get that.
Look, like I'm the wife. Listen to you television.
But for Tobey, all of this new attention would become a serious problem. After the fans' disappointment following Spider-Man 3, it was almost like we were starting to see...
Man. From pathetic attempts at humor, I'm Canadian, and I spell it with an... What? And I spell it with an ow? hour? Yep. To the horrible attempts at connecting the bombardment of villains or lame plotline. Just horrendous. Screenplay was garbage too. The best thing about the movie was Venom's suit. Edit 1. People keep asking why it took me 3 hours to watch it. It was playing on TV, guys. To be honest, I enjoyed some of the commercials better. Oh, and also, why the fuck would you be reading this, man? This motherfucker watched it on TV, man. Wait. What did he say at the... and also, according to Wikipedia, Brian Michael Bendis is going to be part of the process for Spider-Man Rebooted coming in 2012. Hopefully the series does reinvent itself similar to Batman Begins with Christian Bale. I was a kid and I watched Batman Begins in 2005 or whenever the fuck it came out. And Batman Begins as a kid was the most boring fucking movie I've ever watched in my life. It was 3.5 hours of fucking, I don't even know. There was no Batman, was there? And all the like adults I went with were like, yeah, that was really good. Like it wasn't good for kids. Spider-Man was good for kids. Imagine being a kid watching Spider-Man 3 and these people were like fucking, that's why this motherfucking account's deleted. Don't even worry about this fool of a thing, yeah? I don't like slander on fucking these movies, man.
Slip. Like the Tobey everyone was used to was just another character he was getting tired of playing. In 2007, the hype surrounding the release of Spider-Man 3 made it one of the most highly anticipated moments of the decade. But behind the scenes, things were quickly starting to fall apart, especially when it came to introducing the villain called Venom. To Sam Raimi, the right villain was Sandman because he had more human qualities.
Looking back on Sandman, he didn't age well. He did not age well. But I thought it was cool as a kid.
The best thing I like about Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's Spider-Man is that they made relatable characters that I understand, even if they were confused, like Norman Osborn. They still have goodness in their heart. When I read about Venom, which I hadn't read as a kid, I had to catch up on it when they wanted him to be in the movie, I didn't recognize enough humanity within that character to be able to identify with him properly. That's really what it boils down to. But as Spider-Man became a major asset for Marvel Studios and Sony, executives pushed for Venom because it was a fan favorite, and since they were funding the project, whatever they wanted, they got. And while the third movie in the Spider-Man trilogy ended up being the highest grossing movie yet at $885 million, the initial response wasn't nearly as positive as people would have hoped. The original consensus among fans was that the movie felt like it lacked the balance of the previous two films.
It was the finale, man. It was the finale. We had to add in fucking... Did you not play the game? Like, have you not read... I haven't read the comics, but I know about, like... Isn't there, like, the 5? There's, like, there's 5 villains that Spider-Man fights at once. They all conspire to get against him. That's what I feel like they were trying to do a little bit of. Tomato, I didn't even know what that shit was back then, bro. The tomato meter and shit.
On screen, you could almost feel the off-screen battle between Raimi and the executives when it came to the major villains. Ultimately, Sandman was the villain who got a large amount of screen time. The character has always been one of the villains that people can sympathize with, and because Raimi saw the humanity in the Sandman story, Venom barely received any screen time at all, beyond giving Peter Parker a cool black suit as a...
But fucking, that's what the cool thing was, right? He had the black suit. Gangster, right? Gangster. Venom, when he was with that other dude was a horrible fit for this movie, first of all. I never liked the guy that was Venom, but you weren't supposed to like him. That's how they used to do villains in movies. You just weren't supposed to like him. But I just didn't think he was like good enough to be the villain. And they also had the James Franco. So I guess it was a bit confusing. Maybe like if I was an adult and I watched Spider-Man 3, I would be like, hey, yo, this wasn't it. But it was definitely, it was like, man. The game, there was a game. Fuck, bro.
Symbiote Spider-Man, fans who never read the comic books had no idea what Venom was supposed to be. Venom never spoke and looked like some kind of screeching alien without any complex thought or motive. Not to mention that the rivalry between Peter Parker and Harry Osborn wasn't even completed yet. There was just too much to unpack in one film. However, there were some highlights. Possibly the most memorable part of the movie was Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, but that apparently that wasn't a highlight, bro, because the tomato meter didn't fucking claim this. This is a meme that fucking took off a couple years ago. Let's be honest about this. This is now everyone's looking back and saying, oh, you know what, that movie was kind of good. I like this shit, bro. I like this shit, man. I always thought this was funny as fuck. People didn't like it, and it was that on that r/movies on Reddit, that guy was complaining about the humor in it, which is now a meme.
Maguire's elite dance moves and him dressing up like...
If they did that on a movie now, we'd all look at it and they're just copying memes. No one would even give a shit.
Like a misunderstood emo teen. He was very unconvincing whenever he got mad or tried to be intimidating, which honestly made...
This is the craziest shit. Why was he acting like this? It's because he had the venom, bro. They try to do something with it. Have you seen what happens when they try to do something new with a show or movie now?
It funny.
Give me rent. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
Ultimately, fans felt like this was just way too much to pack into a single movie.
Oh, that's so much. He's yelling at the fucking guy. He's skitzing out. I thought it was amazing. Like, okay, so let's look at Tom Hardy's Venom. I sort of like it. I watched the last one the other day, and I was like, you know what? It's all right. The middle one was shit. The second one was shit. The first one was decent. But those movies got like fucking 40% and below. Like they didn't get... They're horrible rating. And it's so annoying, the Venom character they made. So what is Venom supposed to be? I think the best one still is this one. That's my opinion of Venom. Like, if you think the Tom Hardy Venom was better than the Venom that was in this movie, and how Tobey Maguire got all angry and shit, like, then, yeah, I guess you can think that. If that's your Venom, then I don't think we've done enough with it. Still, and it's 2026. And we try to pull in, Christian Bale was the guy that runs the symbiotes, right? And that was stuck in the Thor movie. That was horrible, eh? Like, it didn't work out well. And I'm pretty sure they killed him. He was the God killer and they killed him.
Villains and not enough of an actual story. Also, Tobey Maguire just didn't seem to be as into the role of Spider-Man as he once was. Fans started to wonder if he actually cared about this role or if he was just getting a paycheck. Plus, his body just wasn't built for stunts like other actors, and his pain from his early roles almost got him cut from the final film.
Well, I had some back pain during Spider-Man 1 and through Seabiscuit, and it got kind of bad at the end of Seabiscuit. And so what I had to do is just change some things with my workouts and stretching routine.
However, the fame and paparazzi that came along with being the star...
Who gives a fuck, man? You're an actor, bro. I'll deal with the pain till the movie's done for the money they're getting, bro. They're getting like fucking millions of dollars to do this shit. I would deal with the fucking pain. You should see what I have to do. If I got hungover one night, and then I fuck my leg up, right? I have to go to work, right? I have to act like I'm all good because I can't afford to take it off. So this little back issue, fucking deal with it for the money, man. And then after, get some fucking marijuana, get anything, bro. Go on a retreat, go somewhere, bro. Fucking fix that shit up, man. But you ain't no athlete, bro. You're just fucking pretending to be Spider-Man. Shut the fuck up about your back, bro. What about the stunt man, bro? If he's got a back problem, that's a problem.
Of a massive trilogy started pushing Tobey over the edge.
Like, I understand, like, if they do, they're like, nah, you know what? We're going to get rid of Tobey for the third one because he's complaining about his back. I understand if the director fires him, man. What a piece of shit. Bro, you're not even the fucking stunt guy. You're just you're pretending to be Spider-Man. What happened to your fucking back? What, you don't want the $1 million then? You know what? Go fuck it. Go fix your back, bro. We'll pay someone else to do it. That's what I would fucking say.
Okay, back up, guys. You can't do it. Out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
There are cars there, get out of the way. We're blocking the cars. Thank you, Spider-Man.
Yes, man. When I first saw this, I was like, yes. Why are people so mad at that? Like, get the fuck out of his way.
And while almost every star has gotten upset with a camera in their face, Tobey was...
Everyone always hates confrontation, eh? They hate confrontation, right? And the same motherfuckers will go to people, don't touch me or I'll fucking lose it, right? And then they think this is like a job to go take photos of people. And then when someone actually confronts them, they don't want to do nothing, eh? Well, like, you're going and taking photos of a celebrity, and then when they confront you, everyone gets all nervous and fucking shakes up and go, oh, he's a bad person because he confronted me. Man. People are just fucking like, NPCs out here, dude. But I remember when that happened, bro, and I thought he was a G for doing that. Fuck paparazzi, man. Like, even Kanye, bro. Kanye, when he always fucking goes off, I love that shit, man. I love that shit. He probably gets sued out I wouldn't recommend doing that, bro, because you probably get sued by all of them. Like, him just opening the door then, bro, probably fucking broke like 2 people's hands and shit. Wait, I just heard a horn. I'm going to check if my car is not getting stolen, dude. It turns out the car is not getting stolen. I don't know why I thought that. Paranoid.
Constantly going viral for how he seemed to hate it more than anyone else. Like when he got physical with a man who was filming him walking on the street. Now paparazzi are definitely...
I know in America you can get sued for that shit, eh? Yeah, because like you touched him and whatever, and then you just sue for anything in America. But in Australia, if you did that shit, right? If you went and
viral for how he seemed to hate it more than anyone else. Like when he got physical with a man who was filming him walking on the street.
In Australia, that motherfucker got physical with him, and you probably get smacked up for doing that shit. Oh my god, look how angry he is. But bro, he chucked that camera right in his face, man. Why? Why, man? And what, this guy's surprised that this guy confronted you, bro? Like, they're just NPCs.
Now,
oh, that's my fucking $50,000 camera that I just shoved in your face. Bro, keep your camera to your fucking self, man.
Paparazzi are definitely known for pushing celebrities to their limits and robbing them of their sanity. But after Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire just seemed like a different person. It felt like he almost completely disappeared from the spotlight after reaching insane levels of fame, and the public wouldn't really hear about him again until he became a part of a massive scandal where he started being accused of running an underground celebrity poker game. It finally looked like fans were starting to see what Maguire had been hiding for all these years. They couldn't help but wonder if Tobey Maguire was a
What happened with his game.
struggling with fame, or if he was a cold and calculated psychopath that only ever cared about the money. In 2000,
how is this? So what, you play poker? Oh my god, he's bowling and shit. I'm probably doing that as well. But like, you're a fucking cold psychopath that just wants money for playing poker. Is that really how it is? Is that how it is?
2011, Tobey Maguire found himself in a massive civil lawsuit involving a Beverly Hills hedge fund manager.
Let me read this. Tobey Maguire targeted over illicit poker ring. DiCaprio, Damon, and Affleck next. What? What type of shit is this?
Named Brad Ruderman. According to the suit, Tobey managed to take $311,000 off of him, with $110,000 of that coming in just one night.
Bro, the guy had a bad fucking night. This is poker, man. He came in. He probably thought, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna have some fun. Maybe to Brad Ruderman, $110,000 is just play money. Fucking Tobey Maguire's a shark. He's not a psychopathic fucking person. He's a fucking shark. There's poker sharks. They play cash games. This is how this guy got lured into the cash game, because he thought, oh, Toby's another actor or whatever. He's in Hollywood. Oh, he's not going to be a shark. He underestimated Tobey. That's his fucking fault. You shouldn't have bet that much, bro. It's poker. We can go through the hands. You could probably go through the fucking hands with Tobey Maguire and say, this is how he lost. He thought he had a fucking straight and I had a fucking higher straight. Like, it's simple. It's all bluffing and all this shit. This motherfucker could have bluffed, bro. This motherfucker could have bluffed. That's why he lost that in one night. Toby's not a psychopath for this guy fucking not knowing that Toby's a shark. We obviously knew he played poker. I don't understand. I don't understand this slander on my boy.
The major problem was that Ruderman was playing with stolen money through a $44 million scheme where he had convinced investors to give him large sums of cash and promised high returns, only to pay people back and lie about how he managed to make them a fortune. Now, Tobey...
What do you mean lie about it? Can you prove that he lied to them about it, or were they paying him to go in poker tournaments and win big money that he was talking about on that show? Because that's what people do. They usually put investments down on, a sole person instead of everyone entering the poker tournament. We might put the buy-in money to one person and say, we trust you to win the stack for us and we'll all split it. You know what I mean? And we fund them to play. So maybe that could be happening.
He wasn't just caught at the...
I don't know if that's illegal, but I definitely know that's how it happens. I'm pretty sure some of the big dogs... It definitely is illegal because people get in trouble from it. The big dogs especially. And some of these... professional poker players obviously get addicted to gambling and fuck around too much too. It's a fucking bad world. Even the professionals can get addicted and get fucked over with this shit as well. So, but I think Tobey was valid to take that money off this fucking rich guy, bro. I reckon that rich guy probably thought Tobey was a dumb guy, wasn't going to be able to fucking be that good at poker. He probably bluffed and he lost that fucking $311,000 in one night or two over a fucking span of time. Because that is just a shark. Toby's a shark.
Wrong place at the wrong time. He might have actually been the ringleader of an illegal gambling operation. A producer named Houston Curtis would later write a book called $1 Billion Hollywood Heist, based on his experience at one of Hollywood's most exclusive illegal poker games.
Kind of.
Shit, this is a snitch, dog.
Steered me over to a seat and just sat me down right next to Tobey. And yeah, we played all night, and we knew a lot of the same people. And he was soaking the game up like a sponge, and some of the guys were talking about that. But what really fascinated me was to see how these guys acted around a celebrity.
Curtis and Tobey met after he had just finished filming Spider-Man 2 and had money to burn. A week later, Tobey showed up at his house. We played together a few times, and he invited me to his game. I almost immediately started staying late at his house. We discussed the game, how to make it bigger, who to invite. We had similar views on a lot of issues. We thought out an unofficial business plan together and began to follow it, and our game began to
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was talking about a cash game before, and I said I can't talk about the cash games. This is exactly what I was talking about.
Develop rapidly. Tobey would bring in Hollywood superstars to play, which made the game more enticing and
yeah, you get them in, you put a... You get them, okay, you get a house, you get a venue. First of all, you get a venue. Someone's house, you say to them, we're going to get 15% of the rake, right? So every time there's a bet, we take... No, we'll say we get 5% of the rake. So every time there's a bet, every time someone wins, we take 5%, put it in the house, and basically you play for fucking a week. There is no breaks. You play 48 hours, you know, like fucking heaps of hours, and you make a lot of money. And the house usually always wins the more hours you play. And you get rich people in, you get people that have money and they want to lose something, and they can lose something, and there's usually sharks there that stay awake for 3 days straight, just fucking getting these motherfuckers. That's Timothy Chalamet, like, you know what I mean? Like, these motherfuckers probably sharked a lot of fucking celebrities.
Interesting for young billionaires and hedge fund guys.
I know exactly what they're doing, but they're doing it on a very high level. This is crazy shit.
Because this was a high roller type of environment, the biggest recurring guest celebrities were Ben Affleck, who would bring Matt Damon, and Tobey Maguire's close friend Leonardo DiCaprio. But according to Curtis, DiCaprio was the hardest celebrity to get. Tobey would have to stake Leo every time because he never wanted to use his own money. DiCaprio is a guy worth $80 million, and he didn't want to put up the $5,000 buy-in. But Tobey said, don't worry, he only plays aces and kings. And he did. Leo was tighter than a gnat's as the
See? Tobey just says, don't worry, I know what he plays. Basically, straight up. He's a shark.
Game started growing, Tobey and Curtis reached out to Darren Feinstein, the new owner of the infamous Viper Club. And this is where they met Molly Bloom.
They had a bunch of holdings. They had some real estate, they had some restaurants,
Right.
they had a fund.
So you became his EA, his PA?
Yeah.
And this led you to poker?
Yes. He came in the office one day and he said, and there are always zany things to sort of like thrown at me. And he said, I need you to serve drinks at my poker game tomorrow night.
If you're starting to think this sounds familiar, then you've probably at least heard of the 2017 movie Molly's Game. The movie was partly written by Molly and tells the story of how she went from being an Olympic skier to serving drinks, only to end up running one of the most sophisticated high-stakes New York poker games in history.
Oh, are they trying to fucking say that Tobey Maguire's like this fucking high-end master poker organizer, dude? High-stakes gambling fucking...
Consequently led to her arrest and later allowed her to sell her story for a fortune. However, Curtis writes in his book that Molly was essentially just a pawn in a much bigger...
This is the Tobey Maguire files.
...game that she didn't understand. He told us that he had a pretty assistant who could serve the drinks, and Molly turned out to be a diligent student. I don't mean in playing poker, she's never been interested in that, but she perfectly remembered the drinks preferences of the guests and took contact details from everyone. Then she and Darren had a fight, and she complained about him to one of the players she was dating at the time. The film emphasizes that she never had a relationship with any of the players. I'll try not to comment on that, but let's say it amused me a lot. In short, they came up to us, said that Darren was trying to take the game away, and threatened to hold it elsewhere the next day. And if you've seen the movie Molly's Game, Player X, played by Michael Cera, is a calm, calculated, seemingly nice guy, but he is conniving, rude, and secretly at war with Molly. Player X is rumored to be depicting the real-life Tobey Maguire.
What the fuck? Michael Cera played Tobey Maguire.
Allegedly, Tobey became the brains of the operation, and he felt that a $5,000 buy-in was just far too low. The game was very accessible. Many dreamed of playing at the same table with Tobey or Leo, and for that experience at that low price of $5,000 was pretty insignificant to them. Some players were already managing to rebuy twice within the first round. We didn't invite people in off the street and understood that no one would leave after losing $5K in 5 minutes. This scheme seemed perfect to me, but Tobey decided that everything would work the same way for bigger money. We raised the blinds to $200, $400 and the buy-in to $50K. From a profit...
Okay, whoa, $50K, bro. This is gonna be $1 million games. Real fucking quick.
Oriented perspective, Tobey was right. The $50,000 buy-in made the game seem even more elite and exclusive.
Yes.
In Curtis's book, he talks about making millions of dollars, but admits that Tobey was always the star player who came out on top. Tobey was winning an average of $1 million a month for 3 years. That is, he has earned about $36 million in poker over the whole period. If this is an accurate number, that would mean that Tobey was essentially doubling what he had made as Spider-Man. It also kind of explained why he wasn't bothering with acting in more major movies.
But bro was running the game. And if he had the house as well, right? If he was running the game and they took a rake out of the fucking $50K buy-in, 200 to 400K blinds, the rake would have been huge. He was making $1 million probably consistently off just running the games.
Movies.
Maybe the profit isn't even fucking noted.
All of the money he could ever want. But it wasn't just the fact that Tobey was essentially hustling these guys out of their money.
Oh, you know what? Actually, the house and the rake won't be noted. He probably made more than that off that. If fans and like people just wanted to be on Leo and shit's table, so he would use Leo as like, oh, Leo's on this table, so people think Leo has money. I'm going to try to get on this table. I'm going to spend $50K. Oh my God.
Also, that he was an asshole while doing it. Poker games are pretty notorious for being what could be called locker room
fuck, bro. I think this guy's onto something.
Talk, where guys get together and say things they'd never share with the rest of the world. For example, it's rumored that producer Rick Salomon kept prodding Ben Affleck about Jennifer Lopez's body. Did her have cellulite on it, or was it nice? Salomon asked.
Fuck?
The table was stunned into silence before Affleck replied, it was nice. But that's pretty mild compared to how Tobey Maguire apparently handled anyone who stood between him and his money. While Molly Bloom claims that she was the one running the games in LA, Curtis said that Tobey saw her as more of a low-class leech. She was reportedly taking home over $30,000 in tips alone every night. According to Curtis, Tobey would go into fits of rage thinking about...
What? Is this all alleged through the show, but
Molly and how she didn't deserve to be there. At one point, he apparently tried making her bark like a seal for a $1,000 chip. She wouldn't do it, but he still gave her $1,000 that night. $1,000 was his insult tip. But Molly wasn't Tobey's only victim. Curtis himself was losing money from the devaluation of his house, the loss of a $4 million distribution deal, and other major losses in Vegas. After a rough phone call, Maguire offered to loan him $600,000 to continue playing until he paid him back. But after Curtis offered to pay it back by the end of the year with 10% interest, Tobey allegedly said, I own you now, and I'm going to make so much effing money this year at poker. Unfortunately for Maguire...
Shit. I didn't think this was going to be about poker, man, to be honest. I thought this was just going to be about Tobey Maguire and like the downfall, right? I thought maybe he got on the drugs or something like that, but now that I think it's about poker, this is close to the heart, you know what I mean? This is close to the heart. I know a lot about poker. There was one time, bro, like, I remember I got paid and I went to a cash game and I lost my whole paycheck in a matter of an hour. I kept buying in, and then I couldn't buy in anymore. And I remember I lost my paycheck that day I got paid. And I remember I went home and I went on Discord like with my boys and I was like, yo, and they're like, what happened? I'm like, I fucking just lost my whole paycheck, man. And they just like start cracking up at me. And then I just thought about it. I'm like, fuck, I'm addicted to poker. I got to stop this shit. I somehow just like, there's no thought I thought to just pull out all my money and put it straight on poker. But I see the monster that fucking Tobey turned into. Poker's a hell of a drug, man, especially when you're winning.
Maguire, these were his famous last words. The poker game blew up after the arrest of Brad Ruderman, and the lawsuit later forced him to pay $80,000 to Ruderman's victims. The game was over, and Tobey came out looking a bit...
But he was made fucking $1 million a year. He made $1 million a year, and he paid $80,000 to the victims. What the fuck is wrong with the fucking system, man?
Like a psychopath with a secret side hustle. This was the lowest point in Tobey Maguire's vanishing career. And just like the very beginning, he'd have to rely on Leonardo DiCaprio again to get some work in Hollywood. After Tobey was exposed in the poker bust, he had effectively lost his purpose in an industry where he was once universally loved. He'd only star in an obscure movie called The Details, which bombed so hard for critics and fans that most...
What the fuck is this?
People don't even know it exists. The only other big film he was able to star in after the fallout was The Great Gatsby, and even then, Tobey technically didn't get the role of Nick Carraway from his own merit. It was Leo who got the starring role and managed to convince the director to hire his buddy. Even after 2 decades, Leo was still convincing Hollywood to hire Tobey. Maguire was constantly asked about what it's like to work with one of the greatest actors in the industry, to the point where it became a running joke.
About what's it like working with Leo? What? Got it. Maybe I'll take that part first and work backwards a little bit.
To make matters worse, The Great Gatsby was arguably one of the least successful films that Leo had ever made. It was one of those movies where both critics and audiences seemed to agree.
I ain't gonna lie, I thought this movie was much different when I heard about it, and I thought it was like a girly girl movie or whatever. But when I went to watch it, I thought it was a very timepiece movie. I thought it was going to be back in time, but the music was all like new and stuff. I think like it had new remixes and it would have like dance music, but they were like in, I don't even know what time period that was. It was like the fucking 50s or 60s or something. I don't even know. I think it was like the 50s or 60s, but they would have EDM, like dance music pumping through it. I've heard that the people that do the music for this, I know someone who knows them, but I just don't think it fit with the movie. When I watched it personally, it was a decent movie, but I don't think it was... Like, I thought this shit was like the Titanic. That's what it looks like. I thought it would be like a timepiece, yeah.
That the movie just missed the mark, which kind of made it look like Tobey had lost everything that made...
You know what I mean? That looks like fucking, oh yeah, they would have like violins and shit playing throughout the movie. But no, it has EDM music and it'll be like dance music of today. And this is weird.
Him valuable to cinema. He was in DiCaprio's shadow once again, and even that couldn't save him from fading away. He really only returned to the spotlight due to a cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home alongside Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. But luckily for Tobey, his appearance reminded older fans about the impact that he had in the early 2000s. Reviews were so positive for the 2021 Spider-Man that it actually made fans revisit the old trilogy and appreciate the third movie for what it was. People started to laugh at Tobey's insane behavior in the third film, and a viral meme trend emerged called Bully Maguire, where fans would...
Yes. The funny thing is, like, since this shit has come out, I've been saying to my mates, like, this is why I've called one of my mates, we call him like his name, but Bully his name. Like, we say Bully fucking Matt. Like, that's like his name when he's like, when we think he's being a bully or some shit, when he's acting like Bully Maguire. So, like, I've always used this shit. And when I'm late to shit, I'm always late to work or I'm always late to something, I always refer to it as Spider-Man 2 when he's late to, like, all this shit, bro. You can't be on time for some fucking random reason, bro. I forget why. He lost his powers, eh?
Compilations of their favorite clips of Tobey remixed into...
It's probably just me being stoned, I ain't gonna lie.
To new scenarios to make it seem like Maguire is bullying other characters.
I don't want to see you anymore.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. Stings, doesn't it? Be a chump.
The swagger and confidence of Bully Maguire is top notch. But
Memes,
Spider-Man No
man,
Way
they're
Home
weird,
didn't
huh?
mean Tobey was
Weird
back.
world, bro.
He's still a rare sight on the big screen. He's only acted in 6 films in the past 15 years. And while he hasn't been in many starring roles, he still produces films on the side. Because Tobey has remained quiet and somber his entire career, we constantly have to fill in the gaps to figure out who this guy truly is. Whether Tobey was a shy actor crushed by fame or a calculated player who beat Hollywood at its own game depends on how you interpret his silence. Because Tobey didn't necessarily have this massive public downward spiral, nor did he beg for redemption. He just kind of disappeared and only comes back when it's convenient for him. Maybe that's what makes Tobey such a great poker player, because he knows when to fold. Hollywood and poker are very similar. The people who bow out early aren't necessarily losers, but just those who figured out it's only going to get worse if you keep going. It's kind of crazy that Spider-Man's best friend, Harry Osborn, was played by James Franco, considering his real-life Hollywood downfall ended up being way messier than any villain.
Yeah, I watched Patrick CC's video on Franco.
Villain arc. But if you want that full story, check out this video.
Yeah, and it was that. It was There Are No Friends and it's about him with Seth Rogen and stuff. Yeah, well, I don't think it's bad for an actor to only have 6 fucking movies. What's his name? Alan Rickman, the guy who played Snape in Harry Potter. I don't think he did any other movie but Die Hard. He did Die Hard back in the day. The first Die Hard as well. He was the villain in the first Die Hard, Alan Rickman, and then he never made anything, and he was Snape in Harry Potter. He passed away, but I think that is the type of aura you should have in movies, which he probably made more than 7 movies thinking about it with Harry Potter alone. But still, that's the aura that I think keeps actors good. Like, Leo's been in heaps of shit, but he hasn't really compared to like some actors. Like we saw bloody, what's his name? Everyone was complaining about Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal's been in how much shit for the last like 2 years. He's been in so much shit. Now we're seeing Timothy Chalamet. We saw fucking Zendaya. She was in heaps of stuff. Tom Holland was in heaps of stuff for a bit, but they fall off quicker now. They do like fucking 10 movies in a row and then they just fall off the why do you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? It's weird, but they're sort of using him like differently these days. When their name is hot, they just put him in everything and then they would just, okay, your time is done now. Move on. But I think actors should do, 1 movie every 4 years. Be like Kendrick Lamar. I love Kendrick Lamar because he doesn't make an album every fucking summer. You know what I mean? That's why he doesn't make
Tobey
one every
Maguire
summer.
convinced the world.